Today it's time for a professional match of StarCraft 2, and what I've got for you is a Terran versus Terran on Turbo Cruise, where apparently, well, the very first player who I was going to introduce wants to start off this game with a bang. He's already sending out an SCV towards what seems to be the other side of the map, and, well, since everyone needs a friend, apparently he's also going to send a second one towards a proxy location. Spawning here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the red SCVs, we are looking inside of the main base of Cure. His opponent, currently completely unaware of what is happening, very close to his main base. I mean, this is literally right outside of his main base. With the blue colors, also from South Korea, we have none other than Fantasy. Now, judging by the fact that we do have a refinery coming up here for Cure, this is certainly gonna be a little bit of a Reaper aggression here in the earlier stages of the game. Second barracks, there we go. We'll start up here as well, so we'll see if Cure wants to go for even more here. Now, obviously, when you are playing Terran, the only requirement to start up a factory is having a barracks. Doesn't matter where it's at. Usually, we do see quite a bit of proxies when it comes to the very first barracks, but then the second one, obviously, does indicate a bit more commitment. Now, Fantasy looks like he's been cheesed one too many times. He's already sending out an SCV towards this precise location. So he's gonna have all the time in the world. Well, I say all the time in the world. He's gonna have like 10 seconds to prepare for this imminent aggression here. That's gonna come up in a little bit. Now he's trying to slow this down to the best of his abilities. Just halting a little bit of mining here and just trying to be as much of a nuisance here as he possibly can be. Obviously, since his barracks is gonna finish up, he's gonna be able to go for the factory. I will expect here, yeah, a Reaper in just a little bit as well. And it looks like actually the first SCV that finished the job on the first barracks now also is polishing off the second barracks. And there we go. It is going to be delivered to the client. Little bit of aggression here in the early game. We'll see how much he's going to be able to get done here with these two barracks. Alrighty. So there we go. First one is going to immediately jump into the main base. Now that factory is rather exposed, right? That Reaper certainly going to be able to get the kill there on the SCV. A couple of the SCVs here for Fantasy already being pulled away as well from mining, just to try and get as much done as possible. No bunker here or anything like that. There's one SCV here on the other side of the map as well, and it looks like that one is actually rallied towards a pretty cheeky location. Factory is going to finish up. Hellion does start up immediately, which is obviously going to slow this down quite a bit. But yeah, look at that. He's starting up a starport on the other side of the map. So we have some proxy versus proxy aggression. It all comes down here to the amount of kills that these Reapers can get. Pretty greedy response here by Fantasy, not going for any kind of bunkers here. Doesn't want to slow it down. I think losing like 4 or 5 SCVs is okay. Losing any more than that though, oh man, that is a lot of workers going down. I do like this position right now for Cure. The thing is though, he has no idea about the starport, and only just now is when we see a factory coming up. I think you have to go for a Liberator, right? If you send in a Liberator right now, yeah, there it is. You can deny all mining here until any anti-air is available. Now, it could obviously be a quick starport here as a follow-up. It could go for, like, I don't know, a Cyclone as a follow-up as well, but he needs to build a tech lab, and it's going to take forever. If this, oh, I guess it's not going to be scouted, right? Yeah, he's looking around. Even if he scouts it right now, it's going to be too late. There's no way. Looks like actually the SCV here is just trying to be a little bit annoying. It's actually got a kill next to its name, so I guess it killed one of the opposing SCVs as well. Well, there we go. Well, no. I thought he was going to scout this, but it doesn't matter. The Liberator is certainly going to come out here. And, well, there's quite a lot of Reapers sitting out on the map. They can't get too much done as there's a whole bunch of Hellions ready to do some work. Starport is coming up. We do see a tech lab here as well for Cure. He realizes that something is not quite right. Dude, just put it right in the center. Just deny all mining here. Don't even let him mine gas. There we go. I love this so much. Okay, so how many SCVs is this? So roughly like 3 minutes and 50-ish seconds is when all of these get pulled. So let's say, just for easy math, right? 25 SCVs here are not mining, plus also that mule. Right? We'll have to see when he gets back to mining. We know that a worker mines for about 0.8 to about 1 mineral a second. So this is so much lost mining time. I mean, forget about the 9 SCVs, okay? Those don't even really matter anymore. He's going to be able to get away there as well before the Cyclone spawns. And it looks like finally right now, about at least like, I would say 30, 40 seconds later is when these workers get back to mining. Now, I'm not going to do the math. At the same time though, Oh, the Terran army in blue also made its way across the map. Actually, the Cyclone locking on right there to one of those Hellions that immediately drove out of the range. That means that that Liberator is going to be up in the air, blocking the units from moving down the ramp here for at least a little while. That command center is in a world of hurt. The second Liberator right now also joining in. It's going to deny even more mining. Cyclone is going to lock on over here, but that obviously means that this Cyclone on the low ground will continue being an absolute pain in the butt. Loving this opener right now for Fantasy, right? He took a little bit of a gamble, didn't really get himself too many defenses out to deal with those Reapers, but it looks like, well, the Cyclones that he's been, or rather the Liberators that he's been producing have been worth their weight in gold. Now, I'm not sure about this. He really wants to get himself a medevac out. Maybe he wants to do some dropping. Not a bad idea, but yeah, there it is. The Viking is obviously going to scout this immediately. It's going to get a couple of free shots off on that medevac, and that's going to make any kind of drop play here a little bit more complicated. Alright, an explosive starter to the game, and it looks like, well, Fantasy is not done just yet. Still, though, obviously, Cyclones are scary. They can pick up a lot of units from a distance, and, well, apparently Cure has decided, okay, you know what? Probably not going to be able to expend very easily, so I'll just double expend. Good luck trying to move up my main base. I'm not gonna give you that ramp advantage. So as long as I defend my ramp, it's gonna be okay. I'll go for the double command center to try and make up for this economic disadvantage I find myself in right now. So look at the supply difference right now, right? Even though there's obviously been, or there have obviously been more kills here for Cure when it comes to the SCV department here, the lost mining time is really, really difficult here to calculate, right? But it's obvious that there is a ton more income here for Fantasy, or at the very least, in total, he's been mining a whole lot more here than the player in red. I like that response though, going for the third command center. I mean, that seems like such a greedy move. But considering, obviously, that the command center of Fantasy has been delayed for forever as well, this is actually making it quite a good start. Man, I love this. The siege tank's just sitting outside of the main base. I dare you to come down your ramp, mate. Go ahead, try your best. See how this goes for you. Yeah, that's not going to be very easy. Now, obviously, high ground advantage is still noticeable. But he's going to need, like, well, either like a Banshee or a Liberator or something to try and get something done. Now, siege tanks obviously can shoot away further than they can see. But it looks like, well, Fantasy has done this before. He knows exactly where to siege up the tanks to make sure that they are not going to be in a vulnerable location. At the same time, though, the Reapers apparently decided, you know what? If you guys are going to sit in that stalemate position there, we're just going to go ahead and move across. Apparently, Fantasy sniffing out that something's not quite right. It's a little bit too quiet there in the camp of the red Terran player. Still, though, yeah, well, that one siege tank doesn't really care too much. Hellions trying to see if they can maybe, well, close the distance. One of them tried its very best, but apparently it died for the Terran Dominion as well. Second one also doing the same thing. My god, did you see that? Throwing the grenade there, the KDA charge, in the location where those Reapers could have been walking if they decided to fly away immediately. But it looks like we're stabilizing right now, right? It looks like both players have now kind of arrived at the point in the game where everything is a-okay. There's still going to be a Banshee that's moving across the map. Does he have... No, he doesn't have any upgrades on it, so no cloaking field here. So this is just one lone Banshee trying to get something done. And, well, as long as not all of the SCVs are... or not all of the Marines are across the map, this should be okay here for Fantasy. So actually, you know what? I really liked the position here for Fantasy a little bit ago. Right now, I am favoring Cure once again. This map is extremely difficult to break, right? So in Terran versus Terran, obviously most of the high grounds are held with siege tanks. Now on this map, if you want to try and see if you can push through this, right? If you want to push into this third base, you're gonna have to go through these big bubbles. And these bubbles can be a massive pain in the butt because the siege tanks can deal a lot more damage. There's that Banshee on the other side of the map. It probably waved goodbye there to that big Liberator, right? Hanging outside of the main base. Since there's no stim pack or anything just yet, these Marines are going to take a very long time making their way across. Now, obviously, there are going to be a couple of Ravens. They can be quite useful here, especially in the later stages. They don't really want to waste their energy over here, though. And, well... I love the micro so much. On paper, Banshee's outranged him. And look at that Banshee, man, getting so much work done. Ooh, it's gotta be careful. Okay, well, oh, there you go. Finally, Fantasy has had enough. He's like, you know what, you Marine killer? I'll just drop an auto turret down. Fine. I'll waste some of my energy. So we have siege tank lines here on both sides of the map. Now, I had all kinds of statistics prepared. Usually whenever I start up one of these videos and I start my recording, I try and at the very least look up some facts of both of these players. Now, I've covered obviously both of them many times. But for those of you interested, Cure is considered to be the rank 9 worldwide right now. At the very least, statistically speaking, on Lugelek in Fantasy is the rank 31 on the planet right now. Didn't really get around to mentioning any of that until well, I guess right now, right? I mean, the early game was a little bit aggressive. That big Liberator, though, there's 2 of them, right? There's one right over here and then one right over there as well. It's always surprising how big it is, right? If you compare this to, like, I think it's a Liberator anyway. I have no idea what it is. It looks like a Liberator to me. Imagine that Liberator would be able to be utilized. I don't know if it would be overpowered. Considering it's quite far down, it must be absolutely humongous. Anyways, did 2 medevacs just pass each other? I think they did. Did either player notice it? There's already... Whoa, look at that. There's another one. Whoa! Are you saying there's 4 of them? Are there more? Hold up. I know there's drops happening. Dude, there's another one. I've never really paid attention to that very much. There's the Spirit Dragon there from Hanzo. And Genji. In the bottom, like right below it. Maybe that's why it can float. I'm not sure. Anyways. Yeah, the Vikings did apparently get notified there of the fact that a medevac was spotted. At the same time, though, Cure sees a bit of an opportunity, apparently. I don't know if he wants to really move in here. Yeah, he's got to be so careful. I mean, that one Viking there obviously is going to always be a pain in the butt. That's exactly why they are located over there as well. Well, let's see how this is going to go. Now, obviously, in Terran versus Terran, you don't... Oh, he's going to actually hold that thought. He's going to drop on the siege tanks. The friendly fire. Sorry, Marines. We don't care about your lives, apparently. We just want the siege tanks to kill you. Oh, my God. He really did not care. The medevac does get shut down. It did a little bit of damage there to a second tank as well, but that one is being polished up once again by an SCV. Anyways, in this matchup, you always really want to focus on Marines and siege tanks, right? However, since siege tanks can shoot away further than they can see, air domination is really important. Because the one that's got the air domination can usually make it easier as well for the siege tanks that he's got to shoot a little bit further away, right? So that's pretty obvious. Now, once you got the air domination, obviously you can switch towards additional medevacs, which is great, but more importantly, you can also add on Liberators. If you have, say, more Vikings than your opponent, you can start adding in a couple of Liberators, one at a time, and then you can force the unsiege on your opponent tanks with that anti-ground mode. So we'll see if that's going to come into play in a little bit. Nowadays, obviously, the addition of the Raven has made that a whole lot more interesting as well. About a half year or so ago, actually, it was like last year November, so it's been longer than that. Time goes by pretty quickly, but obviously they gave the Raven Interference Matrix, which is an ability that can shut down, well, a lot of different units, but that also includes obviously those medevacs like we saw earlier as well, but also Liberators. So we'll see what's going to happen here in a little bit. A couple of Marines apparently brave enough to stim forward, but there were a whole lot more of these Martin the Marines where they came from. It's got to be careful though. Ooh. All right. We see, once again, a group of Marines here moving on the right-hand side of the map. The anti-air here for Fantasy is cycling towards what seems to be this dead space. Cure wanted to maybe go for a drop inside of the main base, but that would have been an absolute disaster. The scan exactly revealing what's going on as well. I mean, he loaded up at the very least these siege tanks into the medevacs. Obviously, there's a couple different ways you can approach it. Another base, though, has been acquired here by Cure a little while ago already. He morphed it into a planetary fortress. And even though both players are mostly just trying to feel each other out, they're trying to see what's going on, I do like this position for Cure quite a bit. He's had that economic advantage for quite some time, and he's also, much more importantly, got a massive upgrade advantage. He's starting on finishing, or rather, he's finishing up 2-2 right now, right as his opponent is starting it, and that's massive. Means that he's going to have a big upgrade lead here for a very long time, and he knows that his opponent is not going to be able to push, so he's going to simply just put down a 5th command center at this point as well. Already, ooh, I love this. We see a fusion core coming up. A couple different upgrades you can get, obviously, and a couple different units you can switch into, but hold that thought, because the siege tanks, they're sieging on the high ground. They do not want to allow this planetary fortress to morph in, as they can shoot, obviously, and reach that towards the low ground. Fantasy is going to be forced to lift up the command center. And I guess for now, well, there you go. Interference Matrix, pretty good. For now, this is going to be okay. This is going to open up the opportunity here for the blue tanks to move further forward. That high ground vision provided there by those air units as well. At the same time, we see Cure stimming forward with a big clump of Marines. That now pushes a big army here from Fantasy from the low ground towards his natural. Cure falling back there to those siege tanks lines, but both players are microing both fights at the same time, and then obviously also macroing on the back of this. TvT is such a complicated matchup. This is the matchup that feels most like chess to me, but here we go. All of the medevacs are loaded up with units, but that was an absolute disaster. Woo! Cure. He just loaded in loaded up like 6 or so of those medevacs full of units. He wanted to do some cheeky plays there, but the Ravens completely disabled a lot of those medevacs from even dropping off their units. And Fantasy holds on there with a very, very important move. This is now going to allow himself, or is now going to allow him to get that base up and running. And even though he's still going to be a base behind, he's going to have all the economy he needs here to transition towards whatever. Okay, guys, we have StarCraft trivia. Hope you've been taking notes. For those of you wondering, this is going to be on the quiz. So that's going to be at some point later on while these players are once again maneuvering across the map. These 2 upgrades, we don't see... Oh my god, I'm going to be able to flex my caster muscles. You ready? This upgrade right here, we barely ever see it. It's called a Rapid Reignition System. There you go. Just let that sink in for a little bit, okay? At some point, I looked through the StarCraft wiki for a very long time just to learn all of the different upgrades. So this is an upgrade that will help out the medevacs. It reduces their boost. Or not, it doesn't reduce the boost, but it reduces the downtime of the boost. And this upgrade right over here, this is a little bit more used, obviously. Wait, they renamed it? It's high-capacity fuel tanks? Oh my god. Lowko, that was a shameful display. Wasn't it called Medevacs Rapid Reignition System? Oh man, maybe they changed the name of it. I'm not entirely sure. Man, here I was with my humble brag. It didn't happen. This one though, that one is certainly called the Corvid Reactor. There you go. There you go. That's now also being shown on the screen on the right-hand side. Man, I was so proud of myself, but apparently the game wanted to disappoint me as well. Hold up. I need to look this up right now. Hey, so I just double-checked, right? I paused the game. You didn't notice because of the magic of video editing, but I paused the game and Liquipedia, on both the Medevac page as well as the Terran upgrades page, well, it calls it the Rapid Reignition System. Ay. Did I just get faked out? I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, I'm sure the game is right. But my internet website said it was wrong. It's like, no. I'm pretty sure the game is gonna be right in these kind of regards. But anyways, siege tanks though, shooting down the debris here in the center of the map is gonna make this a little bit easier to access, but obviously it's always a gamble. Both players are trying to see if they can outmaneuver each other, and this is why I called it chess earlier, right? It's very much so about positioning. It's very much so about maintaining that ground army, but then also getting a sufficient amount of air units, a mix of Liberators, Vikings, and then also those Ravens. We do see a fusion core right now coming up here as well for Fantasy. That does mean both players could make the switch, obviously, to watch Battlecruisers if they really want to, but instead it's going to be 4 Ravens here at once. I don't think I've ever seen anyone make 4 Ravens at once in like, well, ever since they nerfed the Raven, right? I mean, it had once upon a time this ability called the Hunter-Seeker missile. They removed that for an anti-armor missile instead. Obviously, still very valuable. You can reduce the armor of units, which makes them much easier to kill, but it doesn't deal damage anymore. Looks like the planetary, though, will go down. Nice little bit of work right there by those Marines, and Fantasy just barely manages to stim out of that location, and it's going to be able to force those units away. Good work. We see tons of command centers, though, adding on. There's not been a lot of games where I've seen late-game Terran versus Terran. I love seeing this. Because this is, for me, also, like, very much so unexplored territory, right? I watch mostly the Zerg games because, well, I'm a Zerg player at heart. I love watching StarCraft. But there's not that many Terran versus Terrans, it feels like, in the top-level tournaments. We don't see as many of them. At the very least, a lot of them end really early. Well, there we go. Anti-armor missile being utilized as well. That means that these Fantasy Vikings are going to have a significantly easy time, or a significantly easier time, rather, cleaning up those Vikings of his opponent. The Marines, once again, looks like they've managed to force the cancel there on that command center in the bottom right-hand corner, but already Cure, even though he's got a whole bunch of CCs ready to fly over there, he's just building another one in the top left-hand corner as well. So, this is Cure trying to steal a base, essentially, right, of his opponent. A whole bunch of medevacs loaded up with units. This is going to be outside of the vision range. Ooh. Scans are going down everywhere, but this won't be spotted until a little while later. Is he gonna go for the natural? I think so. I think so. That Terran army has to move around. That can deal a lot of damage. It could also actually be an absolute disaster. Because the thing is, these units are not gonna have an easy time getting out of there, right? Only a couple of Marines actually dropped off. Smart. I like that. They're gonna instead drop right now on all of those. Oh my god, that's really clever. They're dropping on all of those starports instead. He knows that this is going to be the next transition in this phase of the game. He can throw away Marines. It's not that big of a deal. If he can slow down the transition here towards Battlecruisers, He's going to be in a fine position. Now, we do see the kill right there as well on the fusion core. So these Marines, man, still being a nuisance. They will scout out right now exactly what came out of these starports too. And while they're running for their lives, I've got a feeling that this will be the last they see, as all of them do burn to the ground. This does open up the opportunity here for Cure to move towards this newly acquired base here for Fantasy. Fantasy right now also grabbed the base in the center, one of the bases that has not been acquired yet by Cure. Siege tanks, though, in a really good spot right in. It once again comes down here to that air battle. And the armor missile, though, providing so much additional value. A whole lot of the Vikings are sleeping on the job. Wake up, guys. Okay, they're gonna try and see if they can continue fighting here. Very critical to go ahead and do so, okay? Yeah, that Raven is worth its weight in gold. Getting so much value here. Now, the command center, though, is already gone. And I guess that means that Cure completed the task that he came here for. Apparently, he wants to stim forward and see if he can potentially end the game right here, right now. Is that not a little bit greedy? Stimming into so many of those siege tanks. A couple of the Marines come running down the ramp over there as well after they move through the inhibitor zone. It's not gonna happen, buddy. It's not gonna happen. I've seen him throw away big amounts of armies here so far. Fantasy playing this a whole lot more cautiously, and while he hasn't got the best economy here, he's dealing a lot of damage to his opponent's army. Well, once again, we have Battlecruisers. Man, I love this. Battlecruisers are probably my new favorite unit in StarCraft, man. Okay, maybe not quite, but they're awesome. Like, I mean, I watched StarCraft 2 for like 8-9 years, right? Where Battlecruisers were only ever used as a joke, right? Hey, I've won the game. Get out of my match. I'm making Battlecruisers. That's how far ahead I am, right? Nowadays, though, Battlecruisers are a legitimate unit, and I love it so much. It makes it so much more exciting, right? Every single unit right now in StarCraft 2 has its place. Now, obviously, some of them are pretty uncommon. I don't see Battlecruisers as often, but I've apparently heard that they are basically used every single Terran versus Zerg on the Korean ladder. So I don't know if that's true, but apparently they're utilized over there a whole lot more. But it's one of those niche units at the very least, and it can deal so much damage. I love this. Really cool stuff. Now they're looking to get a little bit more work done. They're getting some kills here and there, and obviously they've got tactical jump. So there we go. They're once again away. Now I want to look right here at the traits in general. Yeah, look at that. Cure. Well, he's been mining a lot more, so it's fine. He has lost so much more than his opponent, right? His traits have been very, very, well, unethical, I want to say, for those Marines, man. He doesn't care about his Marine lives. Charge forward, my children. Fight that planetary. Yes, it deals splash damage. Yes, a lot of you will die, but it's okay. It's for the greater cause. We must obtain victory here. He's a cruel leader, but he needs to do what he has to get done. All right. Well, still, even though a lot of those bases are well, killed, I still like this position here for Cure, right? I mean, he's got more money, he's got more mining, and in general, he's just looking like he's in a better spot. But I do like the fights that Fantasy has been taking, right? So he still has 5 Ravens. Those Ravens have really won him a couple of fights already. He's just allowing his opponent to come to him, right? Not trying to play too aggressive. I mean, really only utilizing those 2 Battlecruisers. He's actually transitioning to watch 4 more Battlecruisers, getting the Yamato cannon upgrade right now as well. That's the Terran wet dream right there, right? There's a couple of Terran players right now watching this, sitting on the edge of their seat. They're like, no, Marines, no, don't stim forward, don't do it, you're gonna die. Cure's like, move forward. I don't care. Fall back to the siege tanks only where you got Marines chasing you, other than that to die. It's a little sad, man. There we go, though. Yamato's being utilized once again. Massive anti-armor missile. It's even being refreshed right now, and that means that Fantasy once again should be able to win that air battle, and winning the air battle is huge. Now the command center does fall, so I guess Cure once again achieved what he set out to do. He even gets a couple of SCP kills right there on his way out. Well, I say on his way out, it feels like he's got to go soon. Well, there's the additional 4 BCs. He's grouping them up to make it look like less BCs. That's amazing. That is awesome. You know what? Battlecruisers are pretty phenomenal when it comes to killing Marines as well. Basically everything that Fantasy has been making, other than Vikings, are amazing at killing Marines. Oh my god. Oh, this is... how many Marines have gone down? Hold up, let's see how this fight goes, because every Battlecruiser is valuable. He's got tactical jump, he's not going to lose them, right? Instead, more Marines are going down to Battlecruiser meat grinder. Oh my god. Obviously, he can repair them as well, right? Really cool. Anyways, how many Marines have gone down here? 215 for Cure. And it doesn't feel like this game is over yet. Oh, man. I would not want to be a Marine in the army of Cure. Let me just point it out like that, okay? He's throwing them away like they're just a resource. Like all they are is 50 minerals. Which I guess they technically are, but still. He is engaging this beautifully though, right? Even though he's losing a lot of units, he's not making the best trades. He's mining so much more than his opponent that he can actually justify this. I mean, these Marines are gonna be are they gonna be able to kill that planetary? I'm not sure what the trade is. Okay, I was gonna say, oh man, they flew all the way across. Poor guys. Well, I like this though. Battlecruisers slowing down as well. Siege tanks just barely sieging up in time, but these Battlecruisers don't care, man. These Battlecruisers don't care. Look at that. The Marines actually stimming forward underneath all of those Vikings as well. This is the army that's meant to deal with these BCs. If the Vikings are gone, the Battlecruisers are going to have free reign of the map. And apparently, well, for now, Kura has looked at this army and has realized, you know what? It's not going to be enough. I'm just going to move up back home and, well, lose a command center there in the process. That means right now that these Battlecruisers are smelling blood in the water for this base in the bottom right-hand corner as well. Like piranhas, right? Trying to make their way over there. And I've got a feeling, yeah, you can repair that. You can repair that, sure. We already know you don't care about your units very much, Kier. You can repair that all you want. They can just jump away, though, and get to safety if they need to. There we go. Is he adding on more? No, he's actually adding on his own Vikings right now. How many Ravens remain? Only a single one. I wouldn't mind seeing an extra one, to be honest. Like, those Ravens have been worth their weight in gold. Anti-armor missile, anti-armor missile. Didn't have the energy for it. Decided to go for the auto turrets instead. Big drop once again, man. Cure dropping right on top of all of these units as well. The question is right now, is there going to be enough here for Cure to clean up the air army? Yamato guns once again being utilized, and that means those Vikings blow up. One of the Battlecruisers falls. I think a second one may have gone down already as well. A third one looking like it will die too, but that is still, once again, a trait that is certainly favorable right there for the player in blue. And even though Cure has been mining a lot more, right? He's throwing army after army after army at his opponent. He's not getting the fights that he's looking for. He's trying to snowball this, right? He's trying to get to the point where he can basically get towards like the soft underbelly of fantasy, where he can basically fight him right where the units are spawning. But he's never been able to get into that position. Well, he needs to send over some of these SCVs. I think towards this base, or maybe try and, you know, secure that base over there as well. The Vikings right now landing. Okay, I like that. Getting a couple of SCV kills. My god, man. There's been a ton of workers that have died so far this game. Ooh. What a sick match. Alright, looks like the command center will likely be picked off too. Nicely done there by Cure. At the same time, the Battlecruisers made their way towards the bottom right-hand corner. And that means this planetary will be gone. And that really, really hinders the mining here of Cure, right? Yeah, Fantasy only has 35 SCVs, but I like his army composition a lot better. I think that these Battlecruisers alone are probably going to be enough to clean most of those Marines up. Insane. Oh my god. Well, that SCV advantage that was previously in favor of the player in red, I guess it still is in... Oh god, actually, interference matrix. I guess that that will prevent it from jumping home. Well, it doesn't matter. It wears off in time. Battlecruiser is plenty tanky. And they once again get their worth off, alright? They got their value. Okay. Cure. I feel like it's time to switch towards other units, and I feel like that time was 5 minutes ago. He's still trying to, like, brute force his way, right? Like, this is the Terran battering ram right over here. He's trying to brute force his way into the Terran army, and he doesn't care about these Marines dying. Marines are pretty disposable, I give him that. As long as you're mining bases, it's all good, right? If you're dropping mules and you get those juicy mineral patches, you're on a good spot. But right now, we've arrived at a point in the game where Fantasy's army, I think it's stronger. Well, I say that, and this is an awful lot of red Terran. Yeah, I'm not sure. Thing is, you need to always make the aggressive move, right? There is one Raven over here as well, so you could use the interference matrix there on those siege tanks maybe, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Once again, the Battlecruisers, man. How many bases have you guys killed? And obviously, they could also jump home as well and just defend this if they need to. One Liberator apparently joining in too. Battlecruisers get the kill on the planetary fortress. And, well, Cure is trying to bait him. He's like, come on, fight me. Come on, fight me, bro. I'm right here. Come on, fight me. He's not going. He's not going. Oh, my God. Missile turrets at this point in the game also really don't cut it anymore. But here we go. Apparently, if you're not going, Cure is going to stim forward with all of the Marines that he's got. We do see an anti-armor missile going down. These Marines, man, they're finally pushing through. They're going after all of the siege tanks if they possibly can. I think that the Battlecruisers need to jump home. Come on, you kind of need those Battlecruisers at home. Is it going to be enough here? Most of the Vikings do remain, but a whole bunch of the Marines are still fighting on the ground. Apparently, that's the time after the fight ends. That's when Fantasy wanted those Battlecruisers home. He killed a ton more SCVs. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, obviously, he was preoccupied microing his army as well. A couple of Marines, apparently, also sleeping on the job. They're like, hey, guys, what are you doing here? Get out. There you go. And they are out. One hero Marine picking up SCV after SCV kill. This is the one from the previous army, okay? I don't know what kind of religion they have, but apparently he's been told that if you die here, it's a good place to go. Battlecruisers in the bottom right-hand corner, killing another base. Once again, we secure. Floating over a command center. I think this may be the main command center. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've ever seen a game where Turbo Cruise is getting close to mined out. This is amazing. Oh, God. Cure's still ahead when it comes to the supply count. How many kills do these BCs have? 22, 25, 28, and 34. My God. That is the most Battlecruiser value I've seen in a little while. Once again, the Marines ready to go. Well, this time around, they're going to catch these siege tanks unprepared. Well, I say that. Siege tanks pretty good when they're fully upgraded. Actually, a +2, but still. What a game. I have no idea who's winning this. Like, I still like the army here that Fantasy has better. But obviously, like, it can flip-flop really quickly, right? This is a lot of dead Marines, though, right? Like, yeah, he's got higher supply, but those Marines can easily go down. Fantasy also has a very similar army supply, right? A lot of that supply that Cure has is caught up in workers, which obviously are very important. Gotta jump away, mate. Beautiful control there once again. This time around, Fantasy is making a Cure-esque move. Sending in just a group of Marines. They're trying to see if they can kill the... Oh my God, it's gonna go down. Yeah. Trying to see if they can kill the orbital command. It will. And apparently now, these Marines are gonna... Well, they're not gonna sacrifice. Look, Cure, that's also possible. You can just send them and order them home. Oh, Fantasy. This is really his one mining base over here. It's gonna be forced to lift up and get on out of there. Siege tank on the high ground. Well, one Marine apparently joining him as well, and he can't see. He's in this blind spot. Not gonna happen. A couple of Marines, though, still being sacrificed because that's what they do. And the siege tank will just barely end up falling. Cure, he's mining the bases, right? He's getting some mining here at the very least. Base in the bottom right-hand corner, completely gone for now. Wouldn't mind Fantasy taking this one. He can lift up his main command centers, right? He can just lift one over. Maybe start mining over there, because it really comes down to the player right now who's mining, I think. Cure is trying to deny the mining here as much as possible. Obviously, those Battlecruisers are going to be great, but at some point, if you don't have the resources to repair them anymore either, it's a bit of a disaster. Now, this is trouble as well. This base is undefended. The Battlecruisers can be used defensively, and the siege tank can be used pretty nicely here as well. They can shoot over the little chasm. There you go. Yeah, a bunch of Marines are... they are coming up right now to try and see if they can get the damage. Vikings now also joining the fray. That means, yeah, they're going to once again zap back home. That means Cure right now has an opportunity, right? He's got an opportunity to potentially push right here. He knows that the Battlecruisers are not going to be roaming the map here until they've got their tactical jump off cooldown once again. I love this, though. He's cycling towards the bottom section of the map while mining the top left-hand corner. Strategically, that's really smart, right? Because he's essentially forcing Fantasy's army into one big clump, and he knows that the Battlecruisers can't be moving right now. That means income-wise, yeah, he should be in a pretty good spot. Still, though, it's mostly Marines. Up to this point, we've had 378 Marines die. Oh, it comes down to the positioning, 100%. Oh, sieging up inside of those bubbles. Always a bit of a gamble. Well, he doesn't care about this base anymore, man. There's barely any mining over there. The mules do break down. We have one Marine tasked with the job right now to see if it can go after that base. Planetary Fortress over here will fall. More Marines will fall as well. At the same time, we see the blue Terran player moving through the center of the map. We're 34 minutes almost into this game, and it's still so very even. That's insane. This command center right here will fall as well. Cure apparently makes a beeline for his main base right now. Gotta be careful though, Fantasy. You cannot lose these Battlecruisers, okay? Oh my God. Well, no, instead they're just simply gonna kill everyone over here. Marines loaded up into a medevac rather. They do get the kill off over there. And, oh man. Cure has been so stubborn in this game, right? Just sitting around on Marines and siege tanks for so long. I'm sure this works in a lot of games, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work in this one, buddy. Oh, he's got to be careful, though. Oh, my God. Stimming through the slowing zone as well. The Battlecruisers trying to see if they can intercept this from the left-hand side as well. Do they have enough numbers here remaining to kill those Marines? I'm not so sure. There's a ton of Marines stimming from the back as well. These Battlecruisers have been worth their weight in absolute gold. Fantasy, though, running dry here on resources. He doesn't have a lot. Now, this is the lifeline right here, man. This is the lifeline right over here that Cure has been looking for the whole game. He knows there's not a lot of mining for his opponent. And he's been crossing his fingers, hoping that this base does not get found. Okay, there we go. Fantasy is on the move. With the big boys, trying to figure out what's going on. He will find this command center here. At the same time, Cure, he knows that the base is going to go down. He's instead moving towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map. These SCVs are going to be in trouble. There is tactical jump available, so these Battlecruisers can jump home. Now, keep in mind, they have not been repaired, so that's actually a really big deal. Once again, high ground advantage right now in favor of Fantasy, who decides to not even use all of his units right here for defense. This orbital command surely will get picked off as well. Fantasy right now looking to see if there's maybe some more mining over here. The only mining that's really happening here, though, for Cure is long distance. That means he's going to move on over towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Fantasy secured the base once again here in the center. The Battlecruiser hit squad, man. They've got so many kills, 48 on one of them. That's insane. Here we go, though. Ooh, this may be the fight of the game. He needs those Battlecruisers over here if Fantasy wants to hold on. Here we go. Big stim forward right here from Cure. Trying to see if he can pick up those siege tanks as the top priority. There's a couple of tanks in the back as well for Cure. He's trying to see if he can do maximum value. There's the tactical jump. The big boys have arrived. All they need to do right now is clean up those Marines. Nice little bit of pullback micro there from Fantasy. Trying to pick up all of those Marines as they run away. And I think it's going to be enough. GG is called. And Cure, in an extreme game of Terran versus Terran, is the one who loses. That was ridiculous. Alright, so I have to check, right? This is a couple of seconds before the game ends, right as Cure GG's. 46, 51, 41, and 41 kills on these Battlecruisers. 5 BCs were lost here in total, but I really think that Cure could have made that transition a little while ago. Now, how many Marines was that? 508 Marines in one game. Oh my god. The Terran battering ram trying so hard to brute force its way through the others, or through the bases and through the units towards the other side of the map. But apparently the value right there of those Battlecruisers cannot be denied. This was a sick game. Makes me want to play Terran right now, and then as soon as I play Terran, I'm gonna be in a game where I just get like proxy barracks cheeses. And actually this one also started obviously with a bunch of barracks, but I'm gonna go up against like the 4 proxy barracks with Marines and all that immediately right in my first game, and I'm like, oh man, Terran's really hard. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. You can also hit the little bell icon. That way, I believe you get like pop-up notifications on your phone and whatnot as soon as I upload more. So I know quite a few people have that enabled. Go ahead and click the button if you really enjoy the content so you don't miss another video. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright, and I will see you once again in the next one.